After trying to argue that nobody told him it was against the rules for 40 people to be drinking in his garden during lockdown, thus implying that when he was explaining the rules to the entire country, he didn't understand what he was explaining, Boris Johnson tried to point the finger at Labour, then tried to brag about his own record, dodged questions about the parties, and I guess as some sort of Hail Mary distraction technique, highlighted his own racism.
We'd listened to the Right Honourable Gentleman about COVID restrictions. We would have been in lockdown after July.
Starmer was actually just calling for masks on public transport, which is where we are now, and you wouldn't say that we're in lockdown now, would you? Then there's the lie he tells every month to try and make Brexit look successful.
If we listened to them, we would have stayed in the European Medicines Agency and we would never have been able to deliver the vaccine rollout at the speed that we did.
Not only has the UK regulator said that they approved our vaccine under EU rules, but the European Medicines Agency themselves say they don't control which medicines individual EU countries choose to roll out.
But we've also, Mr. Speaker, been cutting crime.
Your entire government is under investigation for repeatedly breaking the laws upon which millions of lives depended, and you have the nerve to brag about cutting crime. And just like every other Tory MP, Boris Johnson kept avoiding the questions by telling us to hold off judgment until Sue Gray's inquiry was complete.
The Right Honourable Gentleman is continuing to ask a series of questions which he knows will be fully addressed by the inquiry.
But the inquiry only finds out the facts. It can't say whether any laws were broken, and you've already admitted the facts and we know the law. And under the system, the Prime Minister is the one who decides what happens after the inquiry. So you're effectively saying, I know I broke the law, I have no intention of resigning, but I'm not going to tell you that until people are less angry at me.
When you look at the levels of trust that the British people have shown in government, there is the single biggest index, Mr. Speaker, of that trust has been their willingness to come forward voluntarily to get vaccinated.
So you acknowledge that because people aren't experts, in order to trust the vaccine, many need to be able to trust the system. So maybe the fact that the government is run by somebody who called black people picking in his watermelon smiles and said Muslim women look like bank robbers and just released a race report that the United Nations said normalizes white supremacy might have something to do with vaccine hesitancy being highest among people of black and South Asian ethnicity. Just a thought.